on or something interesting towards the Neo4j, how you can set up Neo4j, how can you use Neo4j, and how can you establish queries over there, and how can you view certain views from the Neo4j, what are the practical aspects of the Neo4j. So this is what Siraj is going to discuss. Primarily, the session will last for the 1.5 hours. So it's up to you how much interested you will be. So he can spare 2 hours as we discussed earlier. So hopefully it will be a good session for you guys. So please, Siraj.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. My introduction is already given by Dr. Rauf. He's like the one person with whom I started doing research, or the ideas or the fundamental ideas when came into my mind. I usually go to Dr. Rauf and ask, okay, this is in my mind, I want to do this, so we can discuss and do something. Okay, without wasting more time of you, because obviously you would not be interested in the stuff which I am doing. You would be interested in the stuff you are doing. I would like to first to highlight the thing that Dr. Rauf mentioned. From this session, in your exam or whatever quiz maybe, there will be a question of 2 marks. So I hope to you pay attention to session, whatever I'm telling. Or whatever we are discussing, hopefully it would be of knowledge. It would help you in maybe in research, maybe just in tools, maybe in your job, wherever you are doing whatever the role you have. Okay, I would like to start with the fundamental definition of knowledge graphs. Currently I'm actually working with the research group in Italy. As already mentioned, we are working on a decentralized system, and my respective job or my specific task in this group is to basically integrate knowledge graph based system, so we can basically map semantics over it. So if you none of you ever heard about knowledge graph, so it's okay. I'm supposing that you have zero knowledge about knowledge graph and zero knowledge about semantics, so we are just going from the basics. Okay, but I'm expecting that you have some background with the graph technologies, or if not, then SQL or SQL technologies, or you know about relational databases and relationships, what we have in our daily life or in our daily routine. Okay, so let me share my screen for showing you basic definition. Okay, I didn't prepare any specific slide for today's session, so sorry for that. But we will be using totally directly tools and stuff. So I hope it would be more interesting for you rather than viewing just slides. Okay, some boring stuff is going on, blah 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 blah. So I don't want to be doing that. So I want to engage your focus. So this is how I can do so. I'm starting with the basic definition of knowledge graph. Okay, the knowledge graph concept of knowledge graph is basically extracted from graphs. Okay, so what are graphs? Can anyone of you want to tell me what is graph, if you have any thought in mind?
In graphs, yeah, in graphs they are what I stand between them, and they can be communities in the graphs, so that multiple groups which combine multiple nodes combined closely connected closely becomes a community.
Okay.
And
okay, anyone else who want to add or reduce something from the view the student gave?
Basically what we have understood by knowledge graphs in the class is that knowledge graphs basically links similar pieces of information.
Sorry for interruption. I'm asking about graph, just not knowledge graph. we will discuss knowledge graph. I will discuss knowledge graph, then we will talk about knowledge graph. I'm just now for now I'm asking what is just graph.
Sir, graphs are a measure or pictorial representation to represent data and information, to visualize data and information. Pictorial representation.
Okay, okay, everyone is able to see my screen. Go Google Chrome. Are you able to see the screen I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me make this thing simpler. What we normally, even I have seen professors, they think of graphs as plots or charts. Graphs are not charts or plots. Like I have just opened some images. The image on which I am hovering is basically a chart. It's not a graph. And in slangly, or and when we are talking within a team or any stuff, we say, okay, this is a graph. This is a histogram graph. No, it is not a histogram graph. It is histogram chart. So there is a big difference between plots and graphs, because graphs contain nodes and edges. The fundamental definition we have studied in discrete mathematics or maybe somewhere else, but usually in discrete mathematics we get introduction to graphs when we are studying BFS and DFS tree structure algorithms, and maybe in AI. I usually taught AI, BFS and DFS, because the searching part is the beginning of AI. So we usually talk about this when we are uh, discussing AI aspects or AI background. Okay, so the fundamental difference between chart and plot and charts or plots and graphs is charts and plots are the pictorial representation, as one of you said, but graph is not necessarily is it's about what we can say pictorial representation. Basically, it's a connectivity, or graph shows you connectivity of the components residing within your system. The system you are having or the system you are using basically has connectivity. In real life, if we think of anything, that the system has somewhat connectivity. Like let's say take an example of student with the university, and we want to represent this relationship, or we want to represent this thing with a graph. So we can use nodes and we can use edges. And edges uh, in this case can be representing or could be representing relationships, and node will be representing the entities. Like student studies at National University Fast, or students studying at Muhammad Ali Jinnah University, students studying at XYZ University, and student studying at or doing uh, BSCS, BSSE, MS or MSSE, that stuff. So graph basically represents the inherent relationships between the entities. And when these entities or these inherent relationships are belonging to the real world scenarios or real world data, then they are known as knowledge graphs. This is the simplest way I can express you, or I can explain you the term of knowledge graph, because there is no gold standard definition till now. Till date, there is no gold standard definition of knowledge graphs. So we have different definitions. You can see different definition when you will be searching on or reading any blog. There are many definitions. Okay, even in literature, there are many definitions. So I am here. I have opened one of the definition, which is I think the latest one, or maybe there are more after this, but I like this definition, so I will be emphasizing on this one. So knowledge graph is basically a model, and specifically we say it a graph model. Okay, so what it does, it helps you to represent the relationship between the data and the knowledge entity. And the knowledge entity here is basically the physical entity of the world, or the world you are basically you want to represent, or you want to show, or you want to build to represent anything, or the problem you are trying to solve. It could be gene, if you are talking about gene network or biological network. It could be a protein. If you are talking about protein gene interaction, it could be a person. if you are talking about the surveillance stuff, it could be a person and institute, it could be a person and organization, it could be anything you can think of. So graphs are so generalized, and this uh, sorry, is there any question? Can you please turn off your audio?
सर मैंने अभी गूगल चार्ट्स पे चार्ट्स को सर्च किया तो मेरे पास वही हिस्टोग्राम वगैरह ही मैंने ग्राफ्स को सर्च किया तो मेरे पास वही हिस्टोग्राम वगैरह ही आ रहा है.
The thing is same, because normally, as I earlier said, there is a big misconception of the word graph versus the plots. Usually, जब हम बात कर रहे होते हैं आम जबान में, जैसे हम दोस्तों में आपस में बात कर रहे होते हैं, आसान लफ्जों में कहूँ तो हम लोग बोल रहे होते हैं यार इसका चार्ट बना दो. मिसाल के तौर पर FYP में स्पेसिफिकली होता है, यार ये रिपोर्ट में यार ये चार्ट सेट कर दो, यार ये चार्ट सेट कर दो, ये चार्ट सेट कर दो, ठीक है, या ये ग्राफ सेट कर दो, ठीक है. तो हम यूजुअली व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग or even at organizational level, even in software houses, and even I have heard it from well-known researchers also, that okay, this is the graph, and that is not the graph, because according to me, and when you are a knowledge graph person, or when you are semantic web person, then the definition of knowledge graph is what I have said, that you have a graph where you have nodes and edges, where with the help of edges you are representing the relationship or inherent connectivity between the nodes, and nodes are representing the real world entities or the world you are trying to model with the help of knowledge graph. So Google also does this, because Google क्या कर रहा होता है भाई, Google आप जो भी कीवर्ड लिखेंगे, ठीक है, या जो कीवर्ड्स होंगे उसके लिहाज से वो फिल्टरिंग करके आपको पेजेस दिखा रहा होता है. Google is a search engine. बेशक उसने कुछ ना कुछ इन लेवल या कुछ इंटेलिजेंस बिल्ड की है, लेकिन इतनी इंटेलिजेंस अभी बिल्ड नहीं हुई कि वो इतना फिल्टर आउट कर सके कि वो जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट है उसको भी फिल्टर कर सके. अगर कॉन्टेक्स्ट फिल्टर करने लग जाए तो NLP, नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग के आधे से ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाए. तो हो सकता है इस वजह से आपने जब गूगल पे सर्च किया हो और आपको ग्राफ्स के ऊपर भी आपको हिस्टोग्राम वगैरह दिखा रहा हो, ठीक है. और इवन this problem can be seen in some tools even. Maybe अब सॉल्व कर ली हो, लेकिन शुरू में मैंने कुछ टूल्स, मुझे अभी स्पेसिफिक नाम याद नहीं है, लेकिन टूल्स में भी इवन ये मिस्टेक मैंने देखी कि ग्राफ्स को और प्लॉट्स को ग्राफ ही बोला हुआ है, ठीक है. तो the both things are different, they are not the same. So whenever from now after life, whenever you listen to graph, the thing that should came in your mind is the definition which I have told you, that graph is a collection of nodes and the collection of edges, and edges representing the relationships and the nodes representing the entities. And this same concept is known as knowledge graph. Okay, so knowledge graph में और simple graph में difference क्या होता है, ठीक है. Let's talk about that stuff now. So the key difference between a simple graph or what we can say a property graph, okay, there are many types of graphs. There are bipartite graph, there are independent graph, there is a whole bunch of family of graphs if you search about it. So we will not go into details of those things, but we can say we will just touch the stuff we are basically interested in, or this session specifically is interested in. So the property graph is basically the definition of property graph is what I have told you till now. Okay, and there is just one difference between property graph and knowledge graph, according to me. Maybe there can be more researchers and more scientists who could think that there is something else. This is not enough, but according to me, this concept is enough. Property graph has nodes or nodes representing real world entities and edges representing relationships. Okay, and within knowledge graph, these entities or these relationships or the whole stuff is represented by the help of triples. Okay, and I would like to use Let me share. My Zoom is making some. I'm not able to let me open any other stuff. Me Notepad. Notepad is enough for me. Okay. Are you able to see Notepad screen or not? Hello. Hello. Can you listen me?